Hi everyone, this is Lynn here with Paper Life Design, and I had someone ask me how we go about making a cereal box cover. And what I've done here is I've cut two pieces that are going to be, let's see, about 5 3/4 wide by 8 1/4 long. My spine piece today is only going to be a 1/2 inch, and I'm doing it kind of differently because it's going to be an insert into a cover. So it's not my usual really thick spine. What I grabbed was a couple pieces of wallpaper that I had, and let's go ahead and get started. I do have some tacky glue, my quarter rounder, handy utility knife, and a bone fold today. You do not have to do your corners rounded. That's purely up to if you want to or not. And you don't have to separate your spine either. If you kept all this together in one long piece and just folded along where you wanted your spine to be, that would work too. This is just a different way of doing it. I don't know. I like it because I feel like it gives me that more traditional book feel to it. Of course, I'm going to be kind of a pain. I want to make sure that I keep this flower as much as I can. And I'm not going to separate out my spine. Okay, so let's see. We're going to try to kind of earmark where that's at. This will not work out as planned, I'm sure. Hold on a second, my chair is going to be all squeaky. So I just take my tacky glue, and we're going to watercolor with our glue. I'm going to attempt to be out of your way more than normal. All right, not watercolor. We are going to fingerprint paint with our glue because we just want it to have a nice, consistent, well, not even consistent, just a nice coverage over everything. And I did not pause before I started this, so I may have to pause here in a second and go grab a paper towel because I'm going to use my bone fold to smear my glue around. Because I didn't grab, usually I'd use like a paintbrush because like I said, it doesn't, you don't have to have it perfect, but you just want it to have a nice coverage. All right. Now, if this is something that you pre-cut your material for, I would allow about a 1/2 inch. To be honest, a lot of times I leave more than that. I'm going to just kind of eyeball this real quick and make sure I have this over far enough. Oh, yay, let me throw my glue-covered utensils at me, or tools, or whatever. All right, give me 1 second. I'm going to pause you. And the magic of camera, I am back. Oh, yay, my squeaky chair is going to make noise for you. Okay. Those don't have a very good coverage. I just put those down to eyeball them. Now, again, you don't have to go through all this fussy work if you don't want to. You guys know I am such a stickler for making sure everything is done perfectly, right? Whatever. We wing everything. I wing everything. So, guys, I am not having a really good day with not flinging stuff around. I want about 1/8 of an inch between this cover and my spine. I'm going to just kind of, once I get it down there, I'm moving it just a little bit back and forth. It helps it bond. And let's see how I did up on the top. And I was only off a little bit. I'm going to kind of press that down. I would do so much better if I didn't have everything in my way. But how do we craft if we don't have everything in our way? Okay, so I got about 1/8 of an inch gap at the top. I'm not worried about this glue. It's going to get covered up. It doesn't matter. Maybe don't use as much glue as I did because it's kind of getting all over the place. Okay, that looks like pretty good gap between those for me. At this point, if you wanted to use something like, oh, can't think of what it's called. I'll get with you here in a second because I'm having a brain fart. Anything in here to stiffen and support your spine, now would be the time to apply it, especially once you get your other side down. Usually I use fabric to hold the spine on between the two covers. To me, the fabric it's more forgiving as you crease it back and forth, and you know you're using the book than paper. I went ahead and I did use the wallpaper today. It will be more forgiving than paper. It won't be as forgiving as fabric. But since it's going to be one that I won't use for a long period of time on a daily basis, I don't think it'll be a problem. Plus, it's just for me, so. All right, let's see how I did on my gap between about 1/4 of an inch there. Okay, that's pretty good. And about 1/8 of an inch there. That's pretty darn good. It's almost like I meant for that to happen. All right. Like I said, I'm not going to go through and measure this. If you want to, by all means. I'm just going to kind of eyeball and cut off about, leave about 1/2 inch coverage on the side. As you can tell, I just probably made that a little shorter than what I wanted. Really, if it comes down to leaving more or less, I would definitely leave more. You can always trim it off, fold it over. It's better to have too much and trim it off than not enough. And my board moved on me again. You don't have to use a cereal bowl or cereal box for this. You want to just get anything that is a cardboard box. I brought this over to show you. I don't like the corrugated boxes. I feel like they just want to bend so much easier. I mean, they're a lot stronger this way, but they want to, I don't know. I just don't care for them. If they work for you, awesome. Please tell me how you got them to work. They just don't work for me. Once you get done with this, you'll find that your cover is going to be pretty thin. One of the ways that you can kind of help with that is I found that if you want to take your bone fold or whatever you use to kind of press your fabric, your materials down, now would be the time to do it. I'm obviously just grabbing anything I have around to do it with. I'm just working to get all my bubbles and make sure it's all bonded well. Tyvek. Okay, randomly, if you want to put your Tyvek down between your two spines, or between your spines and your cover, now would be a good time to do that. Ooh, I gotta clean that off before we come back. I don't remember what I was just saying. Yeah, I just grab anything I can. And that's probably why you shouldn't just grab anything you have, because I just put scratches in my cover. All right. If you're doing this with fabric, I have found that there is, I don't know if it is the glue, I think it's more the material that I'm using, because sometimes I can do it with tacky glue, have no problems. Other times I can do it with Fabri-Tac and have no problems. Other times it's like no matter what I use for a glue, it soaks through my material and leaves a really weird like hardness to my material that I don't like. So don't know the best answer to give you there. I'm going to go ahead and let this glue dry for a second. I'm going to pause you and then we'll be right back, okay? Because I went a little crazy with my glue. I will be right back, guys. Okay, now that I got some of my crazy mess cleaned up, I know you guys have seen me do this on other videos, but I'm just going to come through. What I want to do is I want to cut my corners almost up to my cardboard, but not quite. And what this cardboard is it's really similar to the book board. It's just a little bit thinner. And I'm sure you can even get book board this thin. One thing I was trying to say earlier, but then lost my train of thought, go figure, was that with this board being pretty thin, if you don't like how thin it is, if it's too thin for you, doesn't have the structure that you want, I've used stuff like Wonder Ender to put down there. It's like a batting that I got in with the fabric area, and it adds a thickness to it. But I found the easiest thing to use is those sheets of like fun foam. I just cut it down to my size, glue it onto my board before I cover it, and it adds a real nice thickness and almost a feeling of like a true book cover, how it has a little bit of give to it. That's one of my more favorite things to use. If you didn't cut your corners round like I did, and see, I bring it up almost to there, but not quite. So if you cut them square, I'm going to kind of show you how I trim my corners. And what I do is, it's like this weird little cutout, because that gives me enough right here to fold in, but it doesn't add the bulk. I don't think I was in camera. Okay. So it adds enough there, but doesn't add the bulk. But that was only if I was rounding the corners, or doing the corners square instead of round. I'm hoping at this point I can go ahead and fix this since I cut it, not thinking, because mine are rounded. Let's see how bad I messed them up. We're gonna put a little bit of glue, I tell myself. Let's see how well I can do with a little bit of glue. Oh, that's not my normal craziness. That's pretty good for me. And I'm just gonna take these corners and I'm gonna fold them one at a time. Each one of these little flappy doos, we're going to just kind of fold up and onto the other side of the book board. I'm just gonna kind of use my fingernail, your score tool, whatever you want to use, just to make sure I have a nice round corner that I want. Okay, so we got that one done. We're gonna go through and do all four corners like that. All right. If I did that right, my corners are not staying down the most perfectly ever. See, I need more glue. Give me glue. Give me glue. I need glue. There. See, a little extra glue didn't hurt nobody. All right. What I want to do is I want to come in here first and I want to glue. Make sure I get a decent amount, not my normal go crazy amount of glue, in those seams along this bottom of our board. And then play with our glue up here. Yep, my hands are covered in glue, go figure. Okay, I'm just going to fold my outside of my cover up. Now up to this point, I haven't checked my corners, so when I flip it over here in a second, I will check those and make sure that they're all lining up good. Woohoo, I didn't put my paper towel too far from me. Sorry, my kitchen chair squeaks. All right. So I'm pretty happy with that right there. And we're just going to fix my corner there. Pretty happy with that. Alright. I'm going to take your bone fold, your nail, whatever you have, and just try to kind of form this up to my crease here. I just want to achieve a pretty decent bond down in that spine gap. Yeah, we'll go with that word. I'm gonna call it my spine gap. And usually, well, it's probably because of my excessive gluing, I find I have to go back over my folds to get them to glue down a couple times. Now, if you don't go as excessive as I do, or if depending on the glue that you use, what the set time is, you probably won't have that problem. But I do, so that's what I gotta do. Okay. So, same thing as before, I'm just going to take my cover, fold it up, kind of pushing it into place. And now I'm actually even wiping up my glue. I don't even usually do that, because no one's going to see in this part. Okay, the same thing as before. I'm just going to kind of score, push it in, just so it kind of keeps my same gap as what I had before. So see, now I got both of them. They have a pretty decent scored in. I'm going to check my other side. That's not too bad. Okay. I didn't like this part. I needed to come in and fold this little thing in first. All right. Now these smaller guys are a whole lot quicker to glue. Now if you are doing some form of closure on there, now would be a really great time to add it in. After you glue these down, before you put the inside panel in, that's when I would add my closure, if I remembered to. But let's face it, most of the time I forget to add it in. This one's not going to have one, so I'm not going to worry about it in this case. But I'm trying to do just kind of the same thing, just make sure I don't have it where it's loose on the edge. I wanted to keep a pretty crisp line. All right, if you notice what I did there, from where I cut my corner off to show you how you would do it if your book corner was square, I didn't have enough material. So I have that there. I don't know, I'll figure out how I'm gonna fix it here in a minute. I mean, I guess honestly, I could probably just take a little bit of this wallpaper and put it in under all these layers and you wouldn't be able to notice the difference. I'm probably not gonna do that. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Don't ask me all these questions. I don't know what I'm doing yet. Or honestly, ever, no matter how much time you give me. All right, I'm just gonna come back in here, mess with this again. Like I said, if you're better at this and you don't coat it down with glue like I am, you shouldn't have a problem. Now, I know you guys see that I'm using a damp paper towel. Actually, it's a shop rag. Just make sure when you're doing this, if you're going to use something damp, that it's not very wet, because the cardboard will want to absorb the moisture and you don't want it getting all distorted. But this is honestly a really great way to start playing around with different book covers, because who doesn't have some form of food box? I mean, it's kind of funny. I have all my boxes from food, before they can go in the trash can, they have to sit next to the trash can. If I don't use them before trash goes out, then they get thrown away. But there's always at least 1 or 2 boxes there, and anytime I need one, they're just there for me to use. All right, guys, I'm gonna again let this glue set up just a little bit and add some more, because why not? If you are doing a hidden spine, I know I'm really kind of a fan of the hidden spine myself, but what you would do is you would sew your signatures onto another piece of this cardboard, whatever the size of your inside piece of spine is. Like mine's a 1/2 inch. So that is what you would cut your spine down to, that you're sewing your signatures onto. You would sew your signatures onto them, then you would glue it down over your spine. And that's going to be how you hide your stitching on your spine. My phone just made a funny noise. I wonder if it turned off on me. I guess I should check that before I continue talking to myself. Let's see. No, woohoo, we're still going good. All right, guys, I'm going to let this dry for a bit. I got gym to go to. When I get back, we'll go ahead and do another video where I'm showing you how I do the inside insert for there. All right, thanks, everybody. Have a good day. If you haven't already, check me out. Subscribe, hit like, comment, all that good stuff. Come on over to our Facebook group. We're having lots of fun, mostly with us being crazy. Bye, everybody. Have a good day.